What's up guys, it's Pliskin here, and I don't usually go over Halo Infinite news. I made one video talking about my hopes and opinions on it. However, today I have more opinions and genuine thoughts over the reveal of the new multiplayer armor, as well as this idea of armor coding. So let's get right into that. So I'm sure one thing we can all agree on is that ever since Halo's inception, the armor has been one of the best parts. Specifically, the armor customization you get to do in multiplayer, and in some campaigns. However, with Halo 4 and 5, 343 kinda dropped the ball with the armor designs, departing from the classic Halo art style that we had come to know, love, and associate with the franchise. But for the past couple months, things have been really looking up as the Chief looks like the Chief again. Certain armors they've revealed through toys look like Halo armors, and now we finally get an official render of the multiplayer armor. And here are my thoughts on it. I really dig the overall art style, particularly in the helmet. It looks like a healthy combination of the default Halo Reach Mark 5B helmet that Noble 6 starts off wearing, but also has features indicative of both Halo 1 and 3, which kind of goes in the spirit of Halo Infinite being a soft reboot of Combat Evolved. I'd have to say in regards to the raw look, they really nailed it. It's something new, yet something still so familiar and comforting to see. The body looks pretty good too. I like the return of the crotch armor that comes back from Halo 1, 2, and 3. I feel like having that be barren in Halo 4 and 5 felt a little awkward and unsettling, as it felt like there was an entire piece of armor missing. Besides that, I really just like how they're going back to that square look instead of that weird V-shaped motif they had in both Halo 4 and 5 with a lot of the different armors there, trying to make them look more sleek and slanted, if that makes any sense. This is good old blocky Halo. I would say that the only flaw was the plasticky look of this. However, this is a render, not an official in-game image, so I'm sure they're going to smooth that out by the time the game comes out, so it looks more like a proper Spartan instead of an action figure. Now, while all is fine and dandy with the sheer raw looks, we all know this is just the tip of the iceberg. What we really should be talking about is this idea of armor coding and how this is going to impact progression and customization with your armor in Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Now, we know that Halo Infinite is going to have free multiplayer. This means microtransactions are bound to be involved. However, there is a way that 343 can implement this without ruining everything. Let me explain. I want to bring up the particular wording that 343 has used in showing off this render. That it isn't armor color, it's armor coating. So this is an important differentiation, because I and a lot of classic Halo players are used to armor colors. Now, armor colors would be, let's go with Reach for example, your primary and secondary colors, right? So for example, I always like to use a dull shade as my primary, and then a bright blue, green, yellow, or red as my secondary. So as long as I can mess around with those different color variations with the game that I purchase, I'm chill. Now, the fact that they differentiated these two terms, they differentiated coding from color, makes me feel that coding is going to be kind of the same basic concept as weapon skins. So instead of being an armor color that you can add on, customize, change up, it's going to be like a base kind of pattern that you can put onto your armor. And this is where I feel like I won't have too much of an issue with the way they're going to try to implement microtransactions. They've made it very clear in a lot of promotions. For example, you get a pack of Sour Patch Kids or something like that. Congrats, you get an XP boost, or you'll get an armor coating, and they've exposed two of them so far. This purple one, and then there's another one Granular, I think it's called, that comes if you buy Chips Ahoy or something like that. And that's I'm fine with. Something that's extra that you can purchase online. For example, the infamous pizza skin. If you want to put a pizza skin on your armor and you want to pay for that a base pattern that you can't really customize beyond that, that's totally fine. As long as 343 doesn't mess, it doesn't lock off a color like normal purple and then normal red if I want to mix up that variation, I'm totally okay with this. In fact, I think it's really cool. Because think about it this way. It's not like you have to, I'm sure there's going to be an in-game shop where you can buy certain patterns and weapon skins and this and that, and I'm not the type of guy to spend money on that kind of stuff, especially after I bought the game. and I'm gonna let them get away with it because multiplayer is for free. However, I'm not gonna be in the multiplayer store and be like, wow, that pattern looks good, I'm gonna spend money on that. I'm a simple guy. I'm totally chill with just having like white and red, you know, as my primary and secondary. However, if I'm taking my girl to the movies and I get a pack of Sour Patch Kids to go along with my popcorn, and I see there's a code there to get the coating for granular or a weird pizza skin, sure, alright, I'll take that, that's cool. That's a great way to promote your game, promote this extra content, and maybe tease me with it, and for some people, like, incentivize them to actually look at what else is on the store. I think this is a good business practice. I don't like microtransactions, however, this doesn't feel scummy, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like 343 is trying to reach into my pockets. Like, I'm casually going out, buying one of these other products that they happen to have some sort of collaboration with, and then from that point there, I can get some extra content. That's cool. Then you have the crowd that's totally fine going online stores, season passes, all that crazy stuff. Good for them. But for me, I feel like 343 is just providing all of these kind of options to get that extra content, you know? And if it stays like this, that's fine. If it's armor coatings, not colors, if it's weapon skins, not weapons, if it's XP and not like a pay-to-win thing, I'm totally fine with this. My worry is that down the line, similar to how Warzone has operators that you can like pay extra for if you buy a season pass, and with all this crazy stuff, I'm worried that they might block armors behind these microtransactions. Like, I could totally see this happening where we start off with our Mark 7, they add in the essentials like ODST, they add in a whole bunch of stuff like that, like EOD, EVA, all that good stuff, but then if you purchase a lot, you can get like, I don't know, Hayabusa, or they lock some really cool armors behind that. That's where I'd feel like, Or maybe they try to bait us with nostalgia, being like, oh, you want the classic Halo 3 Mark 6? Well, you gotta pay extra for it, you know? Or you have to happen to like get a loot box or curse, something like that, you know? Like, that's what I'm really worried about here. I feel like what's realistically gonna happen is that if you want your armor to like cosplay certain characters like Cat or Emil, like you'd have to buy like the proper toy or pay for them extra. And that to a certain extent I could see, because then that really is like buying operators in Modern Warfare. That's a character you're getting, not an armor set. So you could recreate like certain parts of their armor set, but if you want like the full robotic arm or Emil's skull helmet with the exact red pattern on his shoulder plate, like that kind of stuff, you know? If they want to push anywhere beyond that though, like I'm gonna have some serious issues with Infinite's multiplayer. Another thing I could see happening is that, for example, let's go with Hayabusa again. Hayabusa isn't in the base game, but then, for example, they have different seasons of their multiplayer, and it's part of a season pass. However, it's a season pass item that you can unlock for free through playing the actual game. Similarly to how when they added the Galil or the Vector to Modern Warfare, they were part of a season pass, but you actually had to play and earn in-game points in order to earn them. So something like that might work out, and that might actually help with the longevity of the game, because then you have like something to work towards. Because I know if like I get to work towards like a Hayabusa, I'll play the game for like 8 hours straight. So yeah, honestly, we're kind of in a tricky situation right now, because the way they seem to be implementing these microtransactions or extra items seems to be chill, but there's a lot that could go wrong very fast. I have some faith in 343, mostly because of how they're handling MCC. I'm very happy with that, and I don't think they want to like screw up Infinite and have it like die really fast. So I feel like at least at first, we're not going to see any of these scummy business practices when we start playing Infinite. However, with time, this might happen, and that's what I mean by we're in a tricky situation right now. I don't think this needs to happen. 343 can make copious amounts of money off of us with the practices they're doing, with having that in-game multiplayer store, with this idea of coatings instead of armor colors or armors, with this idea of certain characters instead of like locking off certain like armor patterns and stuff like that. Like armor patterns, I mean like shoulder pieces and chest rigs, shit like that. And then keep in mind, they're saying that they want this to be a 10-year platform and include other stories beyond the Master Chiefs. So we might be able to, like years from now, pay for like other campaigns And as long as they're full campaigns, as long as they keep on delivering like it looks like they're promising, I'm gonna be chill with that. However, this can go downhill really fast. Anyways, what do you guys think of the Mark 7? What do you guys think about this differentiation between like coatings and colors? How do you feel? Do you feel like you can trust 343, or are you worrying like me? Do you think this will stay to like Monster Energy skins, or do you think this might escalate into something more sinister? This has been Pliskin. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Over and out.